Hi, I'm Uncle Mark. In this video of mine, I'm going to show you how I installed a timing chain for the water pump and balance shafts on a Ecotech 2.4 liter 4-cylinder engine. It's not too bad, other than the timing marks, trying to get that right, of course. So I'm going to get right to it. And I'm showing you with the engine in the vehicle, so hopefully the camera work's not too bad. Now, I changed the water pump as well. I'll do another video on that. Maybe I'll put a link up on the top right now. And just wanted to put the gear back on, and it's held in with 3 bolts. Of course, there I believe is 6 holes in the gear. Well, that's okay. At least there's a piece sticking out in the middle there, so you should just be able to slide it on. Of course, I'm trying to hold the camera as well, and it's making it a little bit difficult. If I can just do what I needed to do. It's on now. It's going to be lining it up is the next interesting part. Now these little bolts, want to try not to lose them. I've shown in another video too where if you drop them, they drop straight down into basically the oil pan.
Nope.
There's enough room there for it to fall down just like a little pinball machine, and that's where they'll go. So down here is probably, well, in fact, I dropped one, and it actually didn't go in the oil pan, thank goodness. It fell here into the frame. So here's my suggestion, tip of the day. Stick a rag or something right here so that at least if they fall, they'll fall on the rag or they'll bounce off and fall on the floor. Because once they go in the oil pan, well, probably wouldn't hurt anything, but you're going to have to replace it. And special bolts, of course. So as we get this back in here, and turn the water pump a little bit. I'll give you a spec for this, torqued, and then we'll move on to the chain itself. And it might be easier, it's 8 foot-pounds or 96 inch-pounds. It might be easier once the chain is on to just help it not move. I'm going to try and put them on the balance shafts here. So what I tried to do is first put it on the water pump sprocket. And then try to work around here. Not a whole lot of room. And the chain does have a little bit of give, but once you get it twisted sideways a little bit, then it's not happy. So I tried getting it off, so it's going to be plan B. I'll show you here right away. A problem you might have, of course, this one, the colors on the chain were a little bit different than some of the brands. This one's got a gold one and 2 black ones, so I thought the gold one must go in the middle and the 2 black ones will go in the balance shafts, but that's not how this is going to work. But using our brain, we can figure that out. So one of the gold ones is going to go on one of the balance shafts, and the other black one will go on the balance shaft, and one of the black ones should go on the cam or the crank. So I actually undid the bolts on that sprocket for the water pump to see if I could move things around.
Yes. Okay.
Did this a few times, and yeah, here's a problem with this one sprocket. The oil is so baked on here, and even with my fingernail, and I tried cleaning it with some brake clean, I just couldn't find the mark. Then I thought I did, but I'm going to show you what the real mark is here. I'll show you on this other side. It should look like this one. See the little arrow there? So where's the arrow? Is it in a different place? That was my question. So because it spins and turns around, I couldn't clean it on there. There's a hole right here where you can put a 30 seconds drill bit, a good one. I had some cheapies here and I bent them. Or a punch in there, which should hold the gear, hold it into the gear teeth, and then undo it. But this is on pretty hard. It's like 37 foot-pounds is what the torque is on that bolt. I'll show you how hard it is to do too, even with 2 hands. Of course, whatever you're using punch or drill bit's going to want to move while that's trying to turn. And it was so hard to do.
Doodles, huh?
I couldn't get it off this way, I'll be honest. I did try a punch later on. I was having trouble with that too, so I came up with some brainiac idea that I could hold it with a pair of vice grips, which did work, but I kind of damaged it. I didn't damage the gear teeth, but just the outside of it a little bit. I'll show you how I did that too, in case you have to resort to such a craziness. So it's sitting this way, and it's just on the outside. It's not on the teeth, obviously, because I don't want to wreck the teeth. See the way the gear is there? And that's what I ended up doing. It's fairly light material. So I ended up pounding it back down. But here's the gears. They're sitting in the exact same spot, and see that little notch there? That's where the arrow is. So if you can't see yours, well, do some due diligence there. In theory, that's where that little arrow is. The back of this tooth only sits on one way. I'm going to put it back on there in case you have to take it off, or maybe you're getting the balance shafts out for whatever reason. Plus, those balance shafts are off-center, right? That's why they're a balance shaft. So as you're trying to turn it, it'll go a certain way, and then it'll off-center and spin around. Lots of fun. At least I can see how I'm going to time this now. I'm going to try and put some chapters in this video too, so you can always skip to the next part. So it's basically put it back on the same way you got it, that you got it off. And of course you got limited room because you've got part of the fender close to my wrist. So not a whole lot of room for tools. So I'm just trying to make it as tight as I can. And you see it's spinning a little bit. And I did torque it to 37 foot-pounds, not inch-pounds, foot-pounds. Now the chain, I got it so that I can see the timing marks sticking out, obviously. And I tried looping it over. Give me a second here with the horrible camera angle, because there is no room for a camera either. So basically what it is, trying to get the chain on the gears of the water pump. So then I thought, well, I can spin the water pump and, get the chain to be wherever that mark is, while that water pump is holding the rest of the chain. And actually it did work not too bad. Of course, it may want to fall behind the gear, and because it's a chain, again, it doesn't bend side to side. It can only bend one way, two ways. Tried wrapping around that gear a little bit just so then I could have it all, figure out what the layout is, and then I'll time it later, and you see how it helped to have it on that other big gear. Plus, we don't have any of the guides in there either, so there should be some room. So what I did is I had it sitting like this. Can move it around a little bit, plus I'm going to be able to take the chain off the gears and center them on their marks, and then I'll be able to do the final gear, the crank, after. So I slid it behind those teeth to try and get my marks. So I figure I will figure out where one is. As long as you have the right mark on the right gear, you can move it around after, right? And it should still line up, as long as you don't turn it around and around and around and around. So you can see how you can move this gear around a little bit. And this is before I was able to clean it. I'll show you it with the proper mark on it after. Because I thought I had seen the mark, and then I'm glad I looked at it later because it wasn't close. So I'm going to try and spin the chain around again. I went left, I went right. So if that one lines up, somewhere along these should be close. So the other one, not the easiest thing to line up, but it'll work. So if you can get your mark there onto this first one, and then you can just move the chain back and forth a little bit, left and right, as you're trying to get the other balance shaft to line up. So I thought this GM thing was the one, but no, that's what it's supposed to look like. Because that was the only mark I saw in there, and I thought, well, maybe they're different. How do you know? So you've had one apart. Now I know. That one fits on the gold. Now we just need to get this one to sit on the bottom here. And of course, the crank's not sitting exactly in the right spot either, so once I move it, it'll make a little more sense. And of course, I don't want to pry with anything. Don't want to wreck the chain. It's just tight enough, it almost doesn't want to go on, so it's going to be a little bit of fiddling. I got a spider web or something on my finger there. And just about got her. You'll have to just tooth by tooth by tooth I found, and it can go on that easy. Or not, right? So this one, you should have an arrow like that. I'll overprint that one. And what's the other one look like here again? We'll show you. See that arrow there, and then this one on the bottom. Depending on the chain manufacturer, they might be different color links, or there might be one, might have two links, and you put the mark between the two. They should explain it. Now we're going to go for the guides. This guide and this bolt. I want to make sure that that groove goes right. The chain is right in the middle of the grooves. Set her down there. Put this one in here too. Should work out. Again, you don't want to be dropping any of those bolts in the oil pan. And here I've got that, nothing actually protecting it right now, but you can see this oil pan hole is right below the very bottom of the chain there. It's just wide enough that a bolt will fall in, and ask me how I know that. I had one of these fall in, and I ended up going to order that missing bolt at the GM dealership. And I got the bolt, and then I was able to fish the old one out with a magnet. Gonna snug these all up. Got my nice little 3/8 drive thumb ratchet, I guess what it's called. It's reversible. I'll try and put a link in the description. They're nice for tight spots and the ratcheting. That's one of those bolts for this tensioner, chain tensioner, I guess. And this is the way it goes in with the pin facing the chain. I thought it went in the other way, and I was trying to figure out, well, why won't the bolts go in? There's just not enough room. And the nice shiny bolt's the one I got from, it's an M6. There's the number there in case you do lose one. I got it from an auto parts store. They seem to have a few of these metric ones, so good to know in case you do lose one. I'm going to snug that up as well. 89 inch-pounds is what all these guides are going to be. Inch-pounds, not foot-pounds. That's probably like, I don't know, 6 or 5 foot-pounds, and it's, oh, let me tighten that up here. I'll show you in slow motion. It did move, and it is tighter. The reason they're using inch-pounds here is it's, inch-pounds are more accurate at these low numbers versus foot-pounds. I know most of the torque wrenches I've had, if it's anything under 20 foot-pounds, they're horribly inaccurate. Now this is a nice digital one I've got, and you can go inch-pounds, foot-pounds, and a few other measurements there as well. This is 37 foot-pounds. That's that balance shaft gear I'm trying to get. And it took 2 people, because somebody's got I wanted that pin in there too, because I didn't want all the stress on the chain. Plus I don't have the head on yet, so I've got absolutely no, they won't make any compression, so it'll just spin over.
Wow, that's
I was using
a
a mirror to see what I was doing. So this one actually beeps when you get to the torque that you need, so that was a help as well. I'll see if I can find where I got this from. Put that in the description. Wow. Really handy. Now back down here and give it a quick once over. Make sure everything's good. Everything's lining up. See if I can get you in here. There, well, that one lines up as well. Perfect. And that one as well. Well, that's done, and that was an adventure. Of course, if you did that, you probably did the timing chain as well, and I'll have the main timing chain for your cam sprockets. I'll have a separate video on that as well. Please give me the thumbs up if this video was of help. You can subscribe down in the corner as well. You'll get all my videos. There's always something coming out on this vehicle and a few more. In fact, if you have a Terrain, and you must because you're watching this, see the blue circle right here? Flashing yellow arrow, it brings you up to a card at the top. That'll bring you to a playlist on the GMC Terrain. Whole bunch of videos in there that hopefully will be helpful to you. Until next time, I'm Uncle Mark. Uncle Mark? Hard to say the name sometimes. Saying you and your family stay safe. Bye-bye until next time. Please subscribe. You'll get all the notifications. It's easy. The little dog will show you how. Ring the bell. Ring the bell.
Oh, goodness. I don't know how we're gonna.
And bigger bolts, that's the foot-pounds, right?
Go in there.
Till next time, Uncle Mark is saying that's not good.